All right, friends, this is not the Rush Limbaugh show. This is not Bill O'Reilly. This is not Chris Cuomo, Don Lemon, George Stephanopoulos. This is just two sports guys talking about sports, all right? And sometimes we bring into the fabric of the show some political talk, but don't hate us for who we are. David Nuno and Raheel Ramzanali. Hello, Heezy.
How you doing, man? How's life?
Life is good, man. Life is good. Got a lot on our plate recently, man. We got, obviously with the Astros going on, Rockets, James reporting a couple days back, and everything going on with Russell and high school sports. And yesterday, HISD announcing that they were going to go virtual until, what was it, middle of October? Excuse me, I think October 16th. Yep. And then what that does to extracurricular activities. We've been a very busy sports department. And I think we've finally got to a point here in Texas that no matter where you look, Raheel, there are people that that have been touched by COVID-19, right?
Yep, it's now that time. Like when we first entered the shelter in place in March, it was almost like a funny question, like, do you even know anybody that has it? And now it's, as you can tell, the numbers are growing. A lot of people have gone through it. A lot of people currently have it, and we're learning more and more about it. With schools specifically, I want to ask you real quickly, because we do have a guest on. What's the latest right now with extracurricular activities? Have you heard anything new or something that you can pass along?
It kind of depends on what school district you talk to. Obviously, HISD, and I appreciate somebody just put the right date on there, October the 19th from Drago. So thank you. It's not the 16th, the 19th. But it kind of depends on the district right now. I still think everything is very wait and see. You got to put some plans in place. And if the numbers go back down, maybe we see a change. I know that in Lamar Consolidated School District, they are going to try to have extracurricular activities, even if you are doing the virtual schooling. So I think that's just basically how it is right now. It's just still a lot of wait and see, but people are putting things into place as we speak, Easy.
Absolutely. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens here, in the next 2 weeks, next 3 weeks. I always say that, because it changes so much. But at least we have something in terms of a timeline for the school districts, right? Fort Bend ISD, they're going to be starting virtual as well. I can't wait to walk my daughter from her room and walk her to the kitchen for her first day of kindergarten. It's going to be a beautiful moment. Man. Yeah, so it's gonna be something that we'll always remember, right? So we've got a timeline in terms of what to expect from the ISDs, at least.
Yeah, and I'll say this: look, there's a lot of political arguments out there on we should have our kids in school. I don't care, put a helmet on, or I want to keep my kid at school. Whatever your feeling is, the only thing that I have found that I've enjoyed about COVID-19 is being around my family as much as I have, right? Like there's been a lot of negativity with it, but I have enjoyed, I have boys that are going into 7th grade, and 7th grade is some very difficult years for kids. I've enjoyed having them close to me at the entire time, and just being a family movie night more often than not, right? So that part of it has been, but we can get into that here in a minute, Raheel, but we got ourselves a cool guest, and I kind of want you to explain how we got Deante. Oh, there he is. And, we're talking to Deante Burton, plays for the Cowboys, spent some time with the Texans. How did we link up here? Because I know you guys got a mutual connection.
Yeah, we got so Jay Sataria, who is the owner and one of the head trainers at STF Houston, Sataria Training and Fitness. He's like, dude, you got to talk to Deante. He's a great dude. He has a great story to tell. And we'll get into your career itself, but yeah, we just know a mutual friend and a workout. I mean, he's just like, he's the most technical trainer I've ever met. So, David, you would love him. Deante, you obviously love him. You come down to Houston specifically to train with Jay, right?
I do. I met him through Tyrann Matthews, and Jay and I built a really good relationship. He's, like you said, he's so technical. He cares a lot about his clients. He's big on the rehab side, and in the game of football, you're banging your body up constantly. So he's good with taking care of guys in that aspect. And once we kind of got to know each other, we kind of hit it off. He's a funny guy to be around, and he runs a great program. So we've become pretty close.
Yeah, I think that's a very important thing for professional athletes, and really just any athlete, college level, high school, whatever it may be, weekend warrior. When you find a connection with somebody who gets the most out of you, and as the athlete, you feel that you kind of feel like you guys are connected. It doesn't go away quickly, right? You drive from Dallas to work out with him.
Definitely. I think it's a trust thing, in all aspects of the game. whether it's a coach, a trainer, someone you go to for mental training, a therapist in that aspect. When you trust somebody, you're willing to give them your all because you know you're going to get that in return. And I think I definitely get that from Jay. And I know some players who get that from certain coaches and training staffs and, like I said, therapists. So it's all about a good trust aspect. And if you can develop that, you have a chance to grow exponentially from where you are to where you want to be.
We always hear about the external factors being a professional athlete. You've got so many people approaching you saying they can help you, they can impact your game or help you financially, whatever it is, right? Like there's so many different people. Just how hard is it to kind of get through all of that and find the good people, find people like Jay that you can eventually build that trust with?
Man, it's a tricky thing, because everyone can tell you how to make $1 million, especially when they don't have it, So there's financial advisors out there who will get you to invest in car washes and restaurants and everything under the sun. There's trainers who will have you doing all kinds of nonsense because they think it works or because they had a guy they knew who did it and it worked. So it is a tricky thing. And I think that's why it's important for you to have a good team around you, kind of vet the process yourself. Don't commit to anything. You're not tied to anything. You meet someone and you have second guesses, you have feelings about it that aren't 100% with you. You don't got to go with them. You don't got to buy all the way in. You should ask as many questions as possible. So that's kind of how I look at it. I'm willing to get to know you, and hopefully you're willing to get to know me before I commit 100% to something.
Deante, so I'm going to paint a picture for you, and I'm going to see how similar it is to you. All right. So I have not had COVID that I know of, but every single day I'm like, I got a headache, bro. Is that COVID? I'm not breathing like I normally do. Is that I understand that you were asymptomatic when you did get your diagnosis. So how did you get there? Was it just something? Was it because you're going to the facility? How did that all kind of transpire?
So I received a call from our HR department. She let me know that I had been in contact with somebody who had reported positive for COVID. Following the rules, of course, they don't release who they got it from, who it was, anything like that. But they just ask that you go get tested. And when I got the call, I happened to be with another teammate. And we're both sitting there kind of like, do you hear this? Because it was on speakerphone. So I was like, are you sick? And I'm not sick. So we kind of laughed about it. And I'm like, but as you said, you start to play that mental game with yourself. You walk out somewhere and you're like, I don't know, is my nose stuffy? Can I smell something? Can I taste it? And so, I was like that for, a couple hours. We had to wait till the next day. We go get tested. Both of us came up positive. And again, we're riding in the same car together. Probably not the smartest idea. But we both come up positive, both still asymptomatic. And we just kind of did our what the doctors told us from there. 14 days, stayed to ourselves. I was lucky enough to continue my regular workout schedule. I just wasn't able to go to the gym. I wasn't able to be around the guys I train with. But for the most part, I did everything I usually did.
Help me understand asymptomatic. I mean, does that mean at no time did you feel different than what allergies would feel like? Is that basically what you're saying?
That's what it was for me. I'm not sure the medical definition. I don't want to mess this up at all. I did not go to school for that. But I was completely fine. I felt exactly how I did now, the same way I did then and before. So I took my temperature every morning just to kind of check. I checked in with our team doctors. He would call me to see how I was doing. I would give him text messages. But I was able, like I said, I was able to still work out. So I'd go out and I'd run. I'd move around a little bit. I didn't want to, lose my cardio threshold from where I was at. So I would do things like that. I'd work out in my apartment. But for the most part, I felt fine. It's a tricky thing because some guys will say that or start to feel asymptomatic, say, hey, I don't have anything. And then the next day they can't get out of bed. So, that's the importance of being safe and healthy during this time.
So after your 14-day quarantine, did you? How many tests did you have to take afterwards to get officially cleared and participate again with your normal workouts and training partners?
Well, it takes what we were told is it'll take 2 negative tests to be considered cleared, just to eliminate the chance of false positives or false negatives. They wanted us to get in there and take 2. I took my 2 negative tests. I came up good. I did another basically 10 days away from other guys. I hadn't got back into the swing of things yet. I just kind of wanted to make sure I was 100% good. And right after that, got back into it. So that's how it went for me.
So and to stay with this topic, when it hits a team or a locker room, What is the panic inside the locker room like? I mean, does the entire team kind of have to be tested? Is that kind of how it works?
Well, I know with the NFLPA, they had kind of put out the statement they wanted us to stop doing workouts together, in large groups. They wanted us to kind of just, disperse. And if you're going to work out, maybe you stay 6 feet apart, but you only get 2 or 3 guys. And I know a lot of teams were starting to get, larger groups together just to get in the swing of things, because with this pandemic hitting our OTA period, it's all virtual. And as important as that is for us to learn the playbook and kind of build that camaraderie through that, but you got to be on the field moving with people. It's a lot of moving parts in a 22-man game, so you got to be, clicking, you got to be connected. So we did separate in that aspect, but I think most part, I know our HR department did a great job of kind of breaking it down. Hey, give us the people who you were around, kind of working that tree. Who were you around? Who were they around? Let's try to get everyone we can tested. Let's be as safe as we can until you're tested. Let's have you quarantine after you're tested, pending your results. Let's have you quarantine. And like I said, I think they handled it the best they could, dealt with the circumstances they had.
Now, with the guidance from the NFLPA, from the team, from the HR department, everything else, you as a professional athlete, are you feeling safe now or safer?
I definitely agree with what they want. I understand the idea that we all got to be safe, but I also understand it from the players' aspect of we really can't, sit in the house and work out by ourselves, not in a team sport like this. It's not basketball in the aspect that you can just go get 100 shots up. You have to move with guys around you because there's so many moving parts. So I'm a little indifferent on the decision that they have, about us staying so separate from each other. But I do 100% respect the idea that they want us to be safe and they want a season just like we do. But we also want to go out there and give you guys the best product we can.
This is not like a question that you can answer for the NFL, but just in theory, just if we see something go down with Major League Baseball or the NBA where it doesn't work, how much do other leagues, you think, play a role in what happens with your league?
I'm not sure, man. It's a tricky thing. I think, we're lucky to see the bubble and seeing how that's working out with the WNBA, the NBA. I think the MLS, I believe they're doing a bubble type situation as well. Mm-hmm. So it's nice to at least see what they're trying to do. We have a lot more numbers, especially in this camp period. We're juggling, I think, 70, 80 guys, plus staff, plus, facilities. So it might not be as easy for us to bubble. But I mean, I think it's tough to make a decision like that pending on how it works for them. I would hope that it goes as smooth as possible. Everyone stays negative. They get to play out a full NBA season, full MLB season, and it shows that we can continue to do what we want to do. But, it would be unfortunate if things went south in that direction and it shut down our sport without us getting a shot.
How much communication are you guys getting right now from the team and from the NFL, NFLPA, regarding, every single day is different. So regarding the changes that are happening right now across the nation and different markets?
Every 2 days we have an open NFLPA call for all players. The president, JC Trotter, gets on. He talks. Don Davis, all those guys will get on. And right now I think we're still in the discovery stage of what we want to do, pending to certain decisions between the owners, the NFL, the players. So it's all progress. Some of it's not as fast as we'd like. Some of it's not the directions we know. We're not sure what's going on, but we're all doing everything we can to try to get to a point where we all want to play football. The owners want us to play. We want to play. The NFL wants the games to go on. So we're all trying to move to that direction.
We talked a little bit pre-show with you, Deante, just this helmet idea that's out there that could be introduced this year. The NFL has to do something, right? Like
they do.
If you're going to play, you can't have the kind of face mask we've seen over the years. So it's going to have to introduce one of these styles.
Mm-hmm. I've seen the ideas, I guess, through social media and some ideas, things like that. I'm not sure what that'll be like in a full game situation. I think if anybody knows, when you put on a helmet, it's not the easiest thing to run and move in. And they've done their best, with the different advancements to keep us safe. And because I think that's the most important part, not so much style, comfort, but safety. And they're doing everything they can. So I'm not sure what adding that additional piece. I understand it's to keep our breath, I guess, from getting on other guys, but I'm not so much sure how we're going to move in that thing and how it'll feel claustrophobic in your face. That's a lot of things around your face. Like I said, my hope is maybe we can wear the ski mask that a lot of guys wear in the cold weather games. You see some guys wear them throughout the season. I think Sherm wears one a
Sherm,
lot.
yeah.
Yeah. So, you see those guys kind of wear them throughout the season. I think it won't hinder you as much. It's easy. It slides on. You're fine with it. So hopefully maybe the NFL will okay that. But we'll see, and it's something that we got to try before we shoot down or before we 100% pass all the way.
How is it in, obviously you've played in various markets. You're currently with the Dallas Cowboys. You played here in Houston as well. But just on a hot summer day, when we're topping 100 degrees, you're out there with the helmet on without anything covering your mouth right now. What is that feeling like with just the helmet on?
Oh, it's toasty, man. I've been outside a few times working out with my helmet on, just trying to get acclimated to the heat. And it's a different kind of heat down here in Texas. And I know the same guys, they feel it in Atlanta where it's humid, and Houston's very humid. It's practically the Gulf. So it's a different heat. So again, that's another thing. I'm not sure if I want something else covering my mouth while I'm already struggling to breathe a little bit. So, it's an adjustment we're all going to have to make to do what we want to do.
Deante, take me through your journey, man. Through K-State and working your way through the NFL. Just kind of highlight how you got here, because it's never easy for, unless you're a number one pick, even those don't work out. It's never easy to get in the NFL and last. And
switching positions when you enter into the league. Like, you're just like, hey, let's make this tough journey a little bit harder. Let's go an extra route here.
Definitely. Oh, man, it's a weird story. And I think everyone's got unique stories on how they get where they're going and how they get there. But I came out of K-State, played receiver all through college, played receiver my first preseason in the NFL. I guess it's a good thing, but I walked into a team that probably, in my opinion, had one of the best receiving corps in, the NFL at the time. Julio Jones, Mohamed Sanu, Justin Hardy, Taylor Gabriel. They were stacked, top to bottom. Dan Quinn, being the genius that he is, the hard worker, the guy he is, he saw an opportunity for me to stay on the team, and he felt that, hey, we should switch you over to defense. That's the staff that had Sherm, so they understood long bodies, guys who had played on the other side of the ball before. I think he saw that, my work ethic, my ability to learn, and he's like, let's give it a shot. We flipped over. I've had some rough days trying to cover Julio and Mo and run with Taylor Gabriel. So it's a bit of a process to learn, but I figure if you're going to do it, you might as well get thrown in the fire. And that's kind of how it works for me. So going from that, bouncing around, I was in Green Bay for a little bit, Indy, I've gone against some great receivers, but it's all kind of helped me build up to the point where I am now. And so it's worked out in my favor for sure.
Just how hard was that footwork adjustment? Because your whole life you're running forward, right? And you're based, what you're doing as a receiver, what route you're going to run. As a cornerback, it's more instinct, depending on the coverage as well. And a lot of it is more back, right? Like, it's a totally different footwork. What was that like?
To be honest with you, the first couple of times I was still running forward chasing Julio. So it wasn't too much backpedaling, but, the biggest switch was just the mentality, the mindset. Like you said, you don't know what you're doing as much now. So I felt for a while, I always felt like I was on my heels chasing guys and trying to figure out what they're doing. But one thing that staff worked with me well on, and they were a great group of guys, Marquand Manuel, Raheem Morris, from Doug Mallory, Charlie Jackson, those guys, they all would stay after and just took the things that I knew as a receiver, splits, spacing, concepts, little things like that, and they helped me flip it. So, flip the board is what they'd always say. So now if when you're playing receiver and a guy's going to do this, he's going to stand here, use that mentally on your defensive edge and know what you're doing. And that slowly started to help me get myself into a position where it's like, okay, now I can just be a football player. I can just play the game. And if you know the game of football, you know it from any standpoint, So that was kind of the biggest part, was just kind of understanding both sides of the ball.
Yeah, who do you think is the best receiver in the game?
I'm riding with Julio Jones always. That's my guy, man. It's on the field, off the field. That's probably my favorite person out there.
Okay, better city, Dallas or Houston?
You're gonna get me beat up, man.
Bro, don't answer that. Don't do that.
I'm just
I'm
messing
not
with you.
doing it.
No,
I'm not
no.
doing that.
I mean, we know the answer is Houston. Like, don't put him in that position. That's
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys looking out for me.
Yeah, you don't want all the Dallas fans to start getting upset about it. Do you guys ever feel that rivalry in Dallas? And I know this is going to be – you got there a little bit later last year, but now that you've been there for a while, do you guys ever feel any of that Dallas versus Houston stuff, or are we just overblowing it?
Well, I mean, I think it's definitely there. There's always a battle for the state of Texas, especially through Texas football. This is it. This is the mecca of sports. I don't know about UT and all that.
Did you ever throw a horns down in a game?
Yeah, I did.
Why would you? That's so
Good for you.
insulting. So
Very
disrespectful.
It's the smartest
Good
guy
for
I know.
your heart. Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, everybody wants to be the best, and especially in a state like this when football is everything, you got to be the best team. You want to be the best team. So, of course, there's a little bit of rivalry there.
How much fun is it in a Cowboys, Texans, whatever Falcons locker room? Because the Texans locker room over the years, we've seen it change from the Gary Kubiak regime to Bill, and it's at least when we're around, it's not as fun. But I know that's like a sacred place for you guys. Just how much fun is it being around the guys in that environment?
Man, I think that was probably the coolest thing for me to see when I got to the NFL is that these are just big kids that make millions of dollars. I mean, these guys play video games and, they're just kids. So locker rooms to me are the most sacred part of like the brotherhood in itself. Because a lot of the coaches I know respect the locker room and the fact that most of the time they don't even come in there. That's you guys' area, you guys' room, do what you want with it. And that's really where guys just open up and you get to know guys. You get personal with guys. You learn things. You become close. And I've been in some great locker rooms around some great leaders. And like I said, I think that's probably the coolest part of sports is just seeing guys grow and be who they are. And you learn so many cool things. You learn about families and you find things you have in common. I've met grown men who watch Saturday morning cartoons like it's the news, and it's like, you wouldn't expect that from a guy you see on TV knocking people's heads off, but that's who he is, and it's a great thing.
I want to follow that up with, because this is my perception. When the media gets into the locker room and it's a ghost town, are you guys like aware, like, man, these dudes are in there. I'm going to take my time going in there.
Yeah. I mean, one of the guys I remember the most, Vic Beasley, was infamous for disappearing when the media would come into the locker room. We don't know where he would go or what he would do, but the second you saw a camera come in or someone pulling in an extension cord, Vic would just vanish. And so a lot of the time, I think, no one likes to have a camera in their face. So it's not you guys' fault. It's not our fault. You're doing your job. We're doing ours. But those guys just like to, keep it sacred in that room.
Man, do you think the locker room is going to be a little bit different this year because of COVID-19 and all the protocols that might be in place?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how they'll do it. It's going to be tough to be 6 feet apart in there. I've heard some people talk about putting like plexiglass between lockers and moving certain things and creating certain ways to have space, using away locker rooms or, guest locker rooms. So it'll be different, but I think the camaraderie and the goofiness and the guys being the guys, shooting hoops in there, whatever you're doing, is still going to be a part of it, social distancing or not.
Raheel's got some questions that he asked at the end of interviews. Raheel, you want to throw your curveballs at him, see if he can rapid fire these answers?
Absolutely. So we do a thing called the same 5 questions. We ask these same 5 questions to every guest that's on the show, okay? So number 1, what is one song you wish everybody would listen to at least once in their life?
Don't Worry, Be Happy.
Bob Marley.
No.
No?
No, it's not. It's Bobby McCracken. But you're good. I like your idea. I know where you're going.
Okay, I know. I thought that was Bob Marley, wasn't it?
No, Bobby
Bob
McFerrin.
Marley's,
Okay.
You're thinking of, Three Little Birds is close. But
Okay. I was wrong on that one. What's one thing you always have to have in your fridge?
Ooh. Honeycrisp apples.
Nice. Do you put peanut butter or almond butter when you eat them?
I don't ruin apples like that, man.
It's a great pre-workout snack.
Nah, you just eat the apples.
What's one place you want to visit that you haven't had a chance yet to go?
Thailand.
All right. Phuket?
Anywhere down there. I
Anywhere?
just want to experience it. Yeah.
All right. Who's one person alive that you want to meet with and have coffee with?
Alive. I would love to meet Stevie Nicks. I think that's a pretty interesting lady.
Okay. That's our first one on that one. We've never had her brought up. That's awesome. Okay, last one. What's one app you want to delete from your phone, but you just can't?
DoorDash. It's probably the laziest app I have on my phone.
It's worth it though, man. It's a little bit easier.
Hold on. Let me ask you guys. I've heard people talk about DoorDash. I don't know what DoorDash is. What's DoorDash? Is that the delivery food thing?
Yeah, it's the same. Uber Eats, DoorDash, Grubhub, it's all the same. I mean, I guess right now it's good with the pandemic. You probably shouldn't be going everywhere, but I feel so lazy when I order a full meal and sit on my couch.
Anytime I look up Uber Eats, I'm like, okay, cool. They have a free delivery today. And then you start going through the process. You're like, oh, man, there's still going to be a service fee. And I'm like, I think I could just drive, instead of paying the $2.99 or $3.99. We're cheap, all right? So
I like it. But it's so nice to do it from the couch.
I know. It really is. Dude, thank you so much for joining us, man. Best of luck this upcoming season. We can't wait to see what you do, and stay healthy. Keep us informed if anything happens. And we're happy that, you were asymptomatic and this offseason wasn't as crazy as it's been for other guys.
Yeah, man, I'm extremely blessed. I'm glad I got to hang out with you guys for a couple minutes. But it's been real, man. Appreciate it, fellas.
All right, thank you so much, man.
Thank you very much. And Sheila giving us a hard time. Seriously, Nuno, you don't know what DoorDash is? Come on. Look, let me explain how things work here, all right? Sometimes I got to, tell people. I'm in my 40s. My wife cooks, and I eat a lot of veggies. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't let me get some chilies. Sorry, I just don't, okay? And I've been scared to go places, Raheel. Let me get on the app and order a nachos. I don't roll like that.
Well, see, I just do curbside pickup. I don't mind the drive because, one, it gets you out of the house, right? If you're inside the whole time, you get out of the house. And then two, it's like I told Deante that I'm just cheap. I'm not paying an extra $5 if I can go drive, 15 minutes to just go pick up the food. And then chances are, by the time I go pick it up and bring it home, it's going to be hotter than a delivery service. That might take a little bit longer. They might have another order. I don't know. So that's why I just don't use them as much. But I know what they are, so don't give me any heat.
But let me also explain this, all right? Talking about being cheap. When you have 4 children, all right, and 2 of them that are middle schoolers that are now ordering big meals, that means you don't get away from Chick-fil-A for less than $70, okay? You know what I'm saying? You just don't. Okay, I'm throwing a number out there. I don't know. But you go anywhere, unless you get several kid meals that are $4.99, you're breaking 100. And I'm just you know what? I'm good. That'll be for wifey and I one night. You guys, we're gonna have some carrots at home. Good night.
I've had dinner with the Nuno clan, and man, the boys, and this was 2 years ago, and they put down food, just like every growing boy. Right?
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. That's part of it.
Yeah. So, no, I don't use the app. I mean, I was very late to Uber. I've only used Uber on the road. I've never used Uber in Houston. Sorry. I know a lot of people do. It's who I is. Okay? In that kind of grammar. It's who I is.
I don't know if I think he's talked about it publicly. I don't know. Okay. I'm not going to say his name, but a very high up executive in sports in our city, he only uses Uber. He doesn't have a car anymore. He did the cost analysis. I'm going to just throw that out there.
That already makes me know who it is.
Okay.
Cost analysis.
Yeah. He did the cost analysis and he Ubers everywhere. He found it to be more effective and affordable to just Uber everywhere.
Yeah. I just don't like waiting. When I'm ready to go, I'm going. I'm going to the gym. Boom. Let's go. I'm done with the gym. Let's go.
What are gyms? I miss gyms.
Yeah.
You mean the garage? You don't want to wait to walk to the garage?
So I don't work out of my garage right now because our fan in there doesn't work. So I work out in the hallway of our house, and it's not a pretty it makes the house look gross. You got dumbbells everywhere. It's not an ideal situation. There's a lot of people who are going to the gym and they feel very comfortable going to the gym. I have older parents, so I'm a little more cautious.
Yeah. I just don't want to wear a mask the whole time I'm inside a gym. I wear a mask everywhere else. But I just don't want to do that while I work out, so I just do it in my garage.
I go to a place in Sugar Land, it's beautiful, called Lost Creek Park for soccer practice a lot, and I see people running in 196-degree weather with a mask on. I'm like, nah. I mean, it ain't worth it anymore, bro.
No.
Like I'll just run by myself, somewhere else.
Okay, I got a few topics for you real quickly.
Yep.
Number one, how did you survive the great Twitter purge last night, being a blue check mark account? I don't know if you saw that Twitter got hacked. It was an inside job, according to some sources. So they had to disable all the accounts that had blue check marks. Those are the verified accounts. And we couldn't tweet. We couldn't do anything. Did your life change? And are you okay?
I didn't notice it. I read about it this morning when I wake up. I've got a process when I wake up in the morning. I go to what's trending on Twitter and ABC 13 app, of course. That's the first place I go. Excuse me. ABC 13's app, and then I go to Twitter trending to see what happened. And I saw something about Daniel Snyder. I saw Twitter, check mark. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on, man. Like every day something explosive happens. But no, that's how I found out about it. I don't even know. I guess I lost the blue check mark for a little bit too, but I survived. I'm good. How did you make it out?
I did okay. I wanted to start a GoFundMe because, I use Twitter a lot. Like that's my number one app. That's what I use all the time.
Right.
And I tried tweeting something and it wouldn't go through. And I tried again and again and again. I'm like, what is happening? And then sure enough, the information started coming out that they've disabled anybody's account that has a blue check mark because of the hack, right? Like they didn't know who's going to get hit next. So yeah, it was all right though. It was 2 hours.
What kind of hack? Okay. What does that mean? Like
so here's what they did. No, so here's what they did. They took, they got access to really popular accounts like Elon Musk, Kanye West. I believe Joe Biden, Democratic nominee Joe Biden also was hacked as well. And what they were doing is they were tweeting that if you sent them $1,000 in Bitcoin, they would return the favor and send you $2,000 later, which is an obvious scam. I saw one report that one of the accounts ended up getting like $40,000 worth of Bitcoin. So, I mean, there's some people out there that fell for the scam. And the thing with Bitcoin is you can't file a complaint, right? Like once that money's transferred, it's transferred. That's it. So that's what the hack was and how hackers accessed all that. And there's more information coming out about like how exactly did they do this. And it is it's wild, man.
So I have a formula that works for me. We'll see. I just don't hit on links anymore. I just don't. If you send it to me, like unless I know Raheel Ramzanali typed the way he always types, and he gives me a link that says abc13.com/dookie dookie, I'm not. That's the only time I'm gonna like. My mom will sometimes send me stuff, and it's like, yo, I'm not hitting this link. I love you, Mom, but no, this is a fake website. Not gonna go there. So I just avoid hitting links.
I'm with you too. I always, if I see something that's like, I don't know, that looks like a shady link, I'll just Google it and see, hey, okay, I'll just find it on my own.
Why is it that people who try to hack are so good with computers, but grammar, not their best? They all have terrible grammar.
Yeah, because they don't think about it ahead of time. Because once they get in, they're like, I'm in, and then they just start typing, and they're like, I don't know, I don't have time to go do the grammar check.
Yeah, but it's like terrible. It's like even words are misspelled, and like the spacing is off. Look, I'm not gonna help the hackers out there, but I'm just saying that
get a copy editor. Yeah, get a copy editor, hackers.
Have somebody proofread like you did in high school. If you proofread your tweets beforehand, how often does that happen to you? You write a tweet, it looks good when you read it. Okay, cool. Press send. Boop. Then you realize, dude, I forgot a word. How did I forget they?
So much. That's why I just tweet like 4 words now because I just don't want to get in trouble anymore. Okay, I got another question for you. So this morning on Twitter, when I was doing my morning routine as well, seeing what happened, I came across a highlight reel of Derrick Rose in 2011, his most valuable player season. NBA player Derrick Rose, he was on the Chicago Bulls at the time. And I started thinking about what one player's season was the most fun you've had watching. Not a team, not a championship, okay? But just an individual season that you had the most fun watching.
All right, I'm going to throw a couple out there that just come to my head. The homer in me, 2012 JJ season, the first year that JJ got 20 sacks, whatever year that was.
20 and a half sacks, yeah.
That first year, and it was like, and we realized, oh gosh, we've got one of these guys that's like the biggest name in sports. I think it was 2012 that happened. That one, I remember every second of it, and just being amazed with that. Of course, MJ, anything that MJ did, I grew up in that era. But one player season,
I'll give you mine. I'll give you one real quickly as you think. The 2001 76ers season featuring Allen Iverson, his most valuable player run. Even though they lost in the NBA Finals 4-1, they won that first game against the greatest team of all time, that 2001 Lakers team, which went undefeated in the playoffs until they lost to Allen Iverson, the step over Tyronn Lue. That was the most fun season that I can remember because I was 16 at the time. I would watch all his games somehow. NBA TV was, I believe, it hasn't even started up. So you have to access the games later on. So it was a fun season, man.
I'll say this, recent memory. I'm not a big LeBron guy. I don't know why. I guess when you're on Team MJ, it's kind of hard to like LeBron. If you're on Team Ronaldo, it's harder to appreciate Messi, even though they're all great, right? But the year that he won the championship with Cleveland, I believe that playoff run that he had kind of exercised all those demons from years past of him not showing up in the Mavs series in 2011 and some other playoff series that he wasn't the man. He was absolutely the man. They won that series because of his defense and his offense. That was a heck of a performance. So that LeBron playoff run was amazing.
Yeah. Vince Young's national championship season at Texas was a great season as well.
We erased that from the record books. Sorry.
No, that was Reggie Bush. That was a race.
Are you sure?
Yeah, that was Reggie Bush. That was a race.
Positive?
Yeah, that was the one. But he's back in now. He's back in the good graces because he served his time with the NCAA. So now he's okay. He's okay to be part of the USC program, which is so ridiculous. Like, come on, he's still part of the program.
I've told you this before. As an Aggie, I have a lot of love for Mac and I have a lot of love for VY. It's very hard for me to say that, but both of those guys, I think, I've met on Mac on a couple of occasions and dealt with Vince several times. Just classy. I know Vince has had some problems off the field in the past, but I just find both of those guys different kind of class, but very classy.
What about Johnny Manziel's Heisman year for you?
That was awesome.
Texas? That was a good year.
Yeah, that's a great one to pick up. Obviously, looking back, it still was amazing. They helped rebuild Kyle Field, if you will. But that was I remember it was kind of that same feeling with JJ that wow, we've got A&M's got the guy, the guy. And that was a great run. So different than VY, where VY won it and had the biggest moment in the championship game. Johnny kind of caught momentum when it was too late for the Aggies to win the championship.
Yeah, and then followed up with the Chick-fil-A Bowl the next season against the Blue Devils.
Which they won. They were trailing, and they came back and won. Remember that. Just saying. They came back and won. And that was a very good Duke team, for the record. I think this is the last time Texas won a bowl game. So,
we just won one. We just beat. We're on a bowl. We're on a bowl winning streak right now. Come on.
Did it count though? Did it happen?
Yes, it did.
It happened in 2020. Sports didn't happen. Sorry.
James Harden. He is officially going to practice today in the Orlando NBA bubble. His first practice since reporting to Orlando a couple of nights ago. He served his quarantine and now he's ready to go. And first practice 4 p.m. today. Anticipating that he's going to be part of a scrimmage as well here in the upcoming days.
So let me ask this question, and I don't mean this to be mean. How is he allowed to practice? So, in my mind, you can say you're self-quarantined, but to me, and I want him to practice, I want him to be ready for July 31st, but to me, quarantining means getting to the new place for the 2 weeks, not doing it somewhere else, hopping on a plane and getting there. So I'm just curious how I want him out there because the Rockets need him, but I'm just curious.
So I believe it's every NBA player that reports to the bubble has to be in isolation for 2 days. I think that's the number. And then they're getting a test every single day as well. So if you have, as Deante Burton mentioned earlier, if you have 2 negative tests, then you're allowed, you're cleared, you're ready to go. So I think that's why he is allowed to now practice with the team because he had 2 negative tests for COVID-19.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Right, and then I'm not sure what's going to happen with Russell Westbrook, who announced earlier in the week that he is positive right now. We don't know when he tested positive, right? So if it was 2 weeks ago, was it the day he announced it? We don't know when it happened. So the timeline could be totally different for him. We don't know what's going to happen there. If he does report, does he have a false negative or, does he test positive again? We're not sure. But I believe even if before he heads to Orlando, he has to test negative. Because if you're positive, you can't even travel to the bubble yet. Yeah.
So is he the highest profile athlete in the United States that has gotten COVID? He's got to be, right? I'm trying to think. Who's been higher than Russell Westbrook? Let me phrase that better. Who is higher ranked? I'm trying. Maybe the names are escaping me. I know there's been some huge actors, obviously Tom Hanks, Idris Elba. I'm trying to think, especially in the NBA. Yeah, there's been a bigger name than Russell.
Rudy Gobert is going to be the biggest name attached to it or the most important name because he's the one that shut down the whole thing. And then what he did, with the mics and all that. Donovan Mitchell also tested positive. But in terms of just popularity, then I would say Westbrook he would be number one.
Oh, and then Jill just reminded us Zeke Elliott. That's true. Zeke is a huge name. I would still say that Russ is a bigger name. Is that fair to say?
Russ is a bigger name.
But Zeke is a huge name. There's no doubt about it.
Russell Westbrook is a Jordan brand athlete. He is a top 5 player at his position, like Zeke is as well. And I would say globally, he's part of a bigger league, right? Like the NBA globally is bigger, but the NFL is bigger here in the States. I would say Russell Westbrook is a bigger, overall, I think he has a bigger Q rating too.
And the helmet is a game changer too, right?
Yeah.
So, not having a helmet in the NBA, all those faces are recognizable. There's a lot of NFL players you'll be like, unless it's JJ or Tom Brady, you're like, wait, is that Zeke Elliott? I think it's Zeke Elliott.
Well, you can just tell with the midriff with him.
Yeah, that's true.
I was like, oh, I can see. Yeah, that's him. Okay, Astros. I have to do a double take here. They have a game next week, 8 days away. The Major League Baseball's like a real game against the Mariners. The season is starting in 8 days. They had a scare a few days ago with somebody potentially exposed to somebody that had COVID-19. So all the pitchers, just exposed. So all the pitchers couldn't report for camp that day.
It was 2 days, right?
Was it 2 days? 2 days until they were cleared. They had to get retested just to be safe. Brent Strom was also one of the people that was not allowed in, and there was a little scare that, look, he's a little bit older, as is Dusty Baker, but everything is okay. We did find out that Justin Verlander is going to be the starter, as expected. Lance McCullers more than likely starting Game 2, and Zach Greinke will be starting Game 3 because he had to miss that day, so now he's kind of behind on the workload. Any other thoughts from Astros camp right now?
I'm just saying this. Watch out, Major League Baseball.
Mm-hmm.
A healthy Justin Verlander with a 60-game season, can we give him the Cy Young now? Okay, that's what I feel like. Healthy, smaller dose. What did he do? He struck out like every single Astros player the other day. Like, he's just amazing. I look at him the same way I looked at Nolan and even Roger. We're talking about Houston pitchers, right? Where you want to put him in the pantheon of the greatest pitchers of all time, but for what he does at that level that he's been able to do the few years he's been here, just phenomenal. I love everything that dude does. So I can't wait. I'm all in.
I can't wait for a Justin Verlander in the playoffs that doesn't have the entire workload that he carries every single season. Right. So when they get to the playoffs, which they will, he's going to be peaking like it's a normal season.
I mean,
that's scary,
in the
dude.
Playoffs.
Yeah, right? That's scary. That's scary.
He lost a little bit of it, obviously, during the playoffs, especially as we got to the World Series. He wasn't the same pitcher.
It was one game that changed it. It was that early, with short rest, Game 5 against Tampa Bay. Ever since then, he never got right.
Right. I mean, and he wasn't bad, but he wasn't right. And you're exact. And that should have never materialized in Game 5, right? But I don't know, man. I'm excited about it. I just hope. I am still pessimistic. I don't know if pessimist is the right word. I'm still cautious. Like, I don't know if we're going to have a full season just because what's going to happen if a team does get it, right? Like, take them off the schedule. All right, hey, because in a tournament setting, you could take away a team. All right, so now you've been eliminated. Now there's only 9 teams left. Well, you got 60-game schedule, and the Rangers have to take, 7 guys off their team because they get, it just, I guess we'll have to wait and see. But I just want the numbers to go down globally, obviously, in Texas and Houston. And then we can start feeling not back to normal, but we can start feeling better about talking about sports, about going to sports and whatnot.
Yep, absolutely. It's going to be a process, and we'll see what happens, man. Anything else? Any stories that you're working on that you want to talk about?
I'll just say this. I was supposed to run it yesterday, but we had some breaking news with HISD. But the gymnast that I spoke with yesterday, Kaylee Edwards, 12 years old, she went viral. Like when I say viral, not like David Raheel viral with 16 retweets. I'm talking like viral, 1,500,000 views of a video they posted of her. That was yesterday after 20 hours of her doing, I think they call it a press, which was a beautiful gymnastics move. I interviewed her, just a delightful young girl, 12 years old, just lit up the room. And we're going to run that story just about how, like in the last 48 hours, she's become a mini celebrity. So we'll have that story tonight. I'm anchoring the 6 and the 10 and the 9 o'clock as well. So I'll be busy. Rockets, Astros, Kaylee Edwards. We'll have this part of this podcast in one of the shows, and I'm sure there'll be something else that pops up. All
right, man. That's awesome. Can you do the press? Did you try doing it?
Yeah, I did it. I just, hurt my back yesterday, doing so I can't do it now. But yeah, I mean, it's hard. But it's like, for you, it might be hard.
My daughter does backflips now. Like she'll do her backflip. She's 5, right? And she's been going to gymnastics since she was probably 2 or something. And she'll show me these things. She's like, Dad, do it with me. And I'm like, do you want your dad to walk the next day? Because if you do, then I can't do all this. Now, if you want me to just be on the couch and throw my back out, then I will join you in doing a backflip.
True story. Annalise has been able to do the splits pretty much. She's 9 her whole life, right? And she wants to know why I can't do it. I was like, honey, if I tried to do half the splits, it's coming out. It's all out. It's over. So it's game changer. I'm never walking again.
Oh, man. All right, man. That was good, man. Deante Burton was awesome. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching and commenting. We hope you learned something new today.
Yeah.
And wear a mask. That's it. I'll say it.
I just don't fight about the mask. Just don't fight.
Just wear it.
I say now we're gonna get political. Stop. Raheel.
No. It's a mask. It's a mask. Just wear it. Just wear it.
Just don't get into a fight.
Yeah.
Just don't. You know what? Now you're gonna send your hate mail to Raheel@Raheel.com.
Just follow me on Instagram, and as long as you follow me, you can hate all you want, but make sure you follow Raheel doing things.
Raheel will actually not argue with you if you send him hate mail. No, he's a good guy to follow.
Yeah. I'll just let you argue with yourself. That's what I do.
And I can't.
You can't.
I have to argue back.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
Later, bro.